All right, how many people in here know what Club Excellence is? All right. That's encouraging. I know Michigan last year had 54 associations that actually utilized Club Excellence during the season. So if you've already been in it, we have some new features that I'll talk about at the end of this. But if you haven't been in it, the beginning of this presentation is really going to be for you guys. And then I'll kind of transition over and really dive into what it actually is and how it functions. So just to start here, I got a couple icebreakers. So be prepared to answer, because I'm going to want a couple of you guys to throw them out here. What areas are your board members focused on? Anybody? That's a common response.
Growing the numbers.
All right.
Fundraising.
That's a good one. One more. What else has already been covered today? Running the organization? We'll go broad. Okay. How many associations have a mission statement? Somebody state theirs. Give me the synopsis, short version. Anybody?
Develop players, have fun.
Okay. What is a mission statement? What does it do for an organization? Purpose, why you exist, right? It's not a strategy, it's an overarching umbrella. Why do you function? Why are you an organization? Why do you spend time doing something, right? Has your association recently reaffirmed your mission statement? Who starts their board meetings by reading their mission statement? Is that a good idea? Sets the focus of your board meeting, right? Why are we here? What's our purpose? And then we can dive deeper. What do we need to accomplish during this meeting? What's our topic of conversation? What votes need to take place? What's our process, right? So all of these things are going to be covered under Club Excellence. We as USA Hockey have realized the value of our volunteers. We are run by our volunteers, but more importantly, you guys on the local association level are the ones that actually represent USA Hockey directly to our consumers, which are our members. A lot of you are members. I'm a member. I play. I work for USA Hockey. I'm an employee. You guys are volunteers at a local association level, at a district level. You guys are the first point of contact for all of our consumers. So, what is Club Excellence? It's an online tool, a portal, designed to equip youth hockey associations with knowledge and tools to offer the best youth sports program in their community. What makes the best youth sports program in your community? Do you guys research what your competition is doing? Do you research youth basketball programs in your area? What days of the week do they practice? What days of the week do the same age kids for us practice? Is that important to us? We want our kids to play multiple sports, right? But do we need to make schedules fit so that parents can actually make that happen? Is that something at an organization level we should take under advisement? We should consider. George mentioned earlier partnering with other youth sports. How are we going to partner with them when we don't even know what they're doing? No, I don't mean you need to go in and send a spy in and find out all their secrets, right? But just general concepts. How much are they charging? What are they getting for that cost? How many gym touches, or rather than ice touches? How many practices a week? What times? How long is the program that they're signing up for youth basketball? Is it 6 weeks? Is it 8 weeks? Is it 18 months? what value are they getting out of it, and how does our organization compare with what we're offering? Does anybody consider this or thought about it? These are some of the types of questions that we pose within the portal to get you guys thinking so that you understand coming in as a board member and as a volunteer, you don't necessarily have to come in and know everything about it. George said earlier he didn't know much about being a president of a youth hockey association. He had to learn it. He had to figure it out and navigate it along the way. USA Hockey realized we teach a lot of things. We teach coaches how to coach every single age level. All practice plans are outlined online that you guys can utilize. We provide all of these tools and resources, but we weren't doing that same thing for youth hockey board members. So that's what Club Excellence is for, and that's what we're trying to get to. So under the portal, we have a couple areas of focus. Administration being the first. So that's going to be your organization's strategic planning, your financial development, and a lot of your governance stuff. And then we have hockey development. So this is also on other areas of our website, but your ADM materials, your coaching education, as well as your participant growth and how to track your numbers and how to increase and retain your players. And then also volunteer development. So I'm not a parent myself, so I can't go out and teach parents educating materials about youth hockey or hockey in general. I don't have that experience, so we don't call it parent education. We call it consumer education because they are buying the hockey product. So along with that is volunteer recruitment and retention. So George again said earlier that how do you find board members within your association if you're a president? How do you identify them? Who do you ask to be part of the board? Right? Do you go out and say, oh, I know this particular family, their father is a lawyer. Do I seek that person out and see if they're interested in maybe holding a board position? Because they would be valuable. They would be a valuable resource to our organization to sit on our board. Or do you pick somebody to oversee your finances that can't balance their own checkbook or is consistently late with their payments? Probably don't want them to be my treasurer, but I'm sure there's another position that we can work for them. Right? All of these things go into being an effective leader within a youth hockey association and managing your organization. All right, so I got a little exercise for you guys. I want you to think about this for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to ask for some responses. So describe your board as if it were a vehicle. And why? So maybe your vehicle needs some work. Maybe just an oil check. Or maybe it's a classic car or a luxury vehicle. Maybe it's efficient, or maybe it's really tough on the environment. All right, shout out a couple. Yeah, okay. Anybody else? You want to start all over? Okay.
Probably that sexy new car that is getting a little old and needs refreshment.
Okay.
To keep it going.
Want to refurbish it a little bit? All right. All right, shopping for some tires. I got. Anybody else? Do you guys get along as a group? I hope you have the same common goal. But is it healthy competition? Is it healthy challenges, questioning? Or is it always one side versus the other? Or travel teams versus the rec side? So I did this exercise in a class that we took at the USOC, and one of the hockey associations that was in it raised their hand and goes, we're like all different pieces of a car spread all over the garage. and somebody needs to put it together, but we don't have a person to do that. That would be your bottom line of when to start over, I think. I don't know how to approach that, but we would definitely need to come up with a plan. So, as a board member, do you guys know what your roles and responsibilities are for your organization? Give me a couple. Oversight. So BoardSource has these roles and responsibilities listed on their website. First, determine organizational direction. Develop your mission, why you exist as an organization, as well as your vision. That's long-term strategic planning. Where do you want to get to? Is your goal in 3 years to build a brand new facility, 4 sheets, going to host all the tournaments? Or is it a little bit smaller? Use your ice more efficiently, get more participants into your association, and then provide necessary resources. So also determine coaches, administrators, policies and procedures for selecting them. Ensure adequate resources to achieve organizational goals, for setting those goals, and then making sure those resources are available. Or if not, develop them, find them, use your resources. This is a perfect example of that. Talk to other associations and see what they're doing. Identify competent leadership. So again, we're not picking a treasurer that doesn't know anything about finances. Okay? Probably not our best move, but we can find somebody that can do these responsibilities and pass them along as well. And then overall increase the organization's reputation. So make sure they're valued within the community and well known. Provide oversight. So determine, evaluate, improve the programs and services. Not all at once, but a little at a time. Trial and error a little bit. Best practices. Provide assessment. Whether something was worth it financially. Provide financial oversight overall, and then maintain accountability. This is obviously just to name a few. How many of you guys have a 30-second elevator pitch for your organization? Nobody? So I was once asked the question, if I happen to one day walk into an elevator with Bill Gates kind of money, what would I do? What would I say? That's a great tool to make sure that all of your board members know and they have it rehearsed. We want to make our name for ourselves in our community. We want everyone to know us. But what's our pitch? Where do we want to be? And can we do it in 30 seconds? That's the hardest part, right? Elevators move quickly these days. All right, a couple more questions for you guys. What 2 items would you change to greatly increase your board's effectiveness? Okay, yeah, keep it focused, on track. So within the next 2 seasons, what will be the single greatest contribution you wish your board would do? In the last 18 months, what's the best decision you've made as a board? Even if it was unpopular. So looking back, what decisions would you change? Hindsight. If your association quadrupled in size tomorrow, what's your plan? Do you have one? Quadruple your cost to find more ice time or build a new facility? What is our association's most unique quality? What are your top 3 assets as an organization? All right, last one. What are our 3 greatest opportunities? All right, so how can Club Excellence help? Essentially, we have cut everything possible down so that you guys don't have to read books or novels. We kind of cut it down and give you the Cliff Notes version so that you know exactly what you're responsible for. So, as an organization, governance, the basic legal responsibilities of board members, basic elements of bylaws, and how to best leverage them. what the difference is between a bylaw and a policy. That's going to be important. Your basic responsibilities as board members again, guidance to improve transparency, policy tips. So, did any of you guys know that ever since Enron, the crisis of Enron, it's actually required by law for nonprofits to have a whistleblowers policy? If you're a nonprofit, do you have one? If you're a for-profit, do you have one? Things like that we outline so that you guys don't have to spend the time to dig into that, and we can save it and give you the Cliff Notes version, but all of these are then checked boxes that you guys have as an organization. So also leading with intent, so running more impactful and efficient board meetings. Are you guys utilizing a consent agenda? Do you know what a consent agenda is? Do you know that you're allowed to utilize it? Michigan as a district is using it this weekend, in fact. I got my folder and I noticed it right away. But can that help maybe make your board meetings more impactful? Can it make more board members want to show up? Can it make them shorter? Maybe a change of location is all you really need to limit distractions and get things done quicker. Everyone's already all focused when they walk into the room. Self-evaluation framework. So who as a board has done a self-evaluation or a self-assessment? Has anybody asked other board members, maybe they're outgoing board members, hey, if you could do anything differently, what would you change? Do you think our board functions well? Those are all important questions to ask. These are tools that we provide. We have a self-assessment survey tool in the portal that associations can utilize. You can obviously do it anonymously, holy cow, so that you don't know as a president or a vice president who's giving you what feedback, but all of that feedback is valuable from the people in your board room at the time that the decisions are being made on behalf of your organization, right? So then if we move on to develop financial oversight, so a lot of people we mentioned full-time staff members, so employees versus independent contractors. The differences there financially, as well as an organization, how you pay them and what different forms you have to use, whether it's a W-2 or a 1099. Different policies to ensure financial abuse safeguards, guidance on fundraising, and securing grants. How many organizations in here applied for a grant this year? All right, anybody apply for a grant other than the One Goal grant? I got one. Do you guys know that there's grants out there specifically for local youth hockey associations and organizations? There's a ton of them. There's money just waiting to be claimed. All of these things, we tell you the tools and resources to find them so you can find exactly what you want. Maybe it fits the project to upgrade your rink facilities or get that equipment that you need. Right? There's organizations out there with plenty of money to distribute. Legal guidance, the 3 Ds, legal responsibilities as a board member. Basic elements of bylaws and how to best leverage them again. And then also your basic responsibilities and job descriptions as board members. So as a volunteer, you are legally responsible by common law to follow the 3 Ds, the duty of care, duty of obedience, and the duty of loyalty. So if you get caught not following those, ignorance doesn't really work in that situation. If you guys didn't know that, it's important to inform your entire board of these things. If they accept that position, whether it's secretary, treasurer, president, vice president, they are bound to follow those. So Club Excellence also provides job descriptions for every single board position that's required. And then in addition now, this year, another upgrade that we added was you can create custom board positions. So you can actually create those own job descriptions. We had an association come to us, I forget what affiliate it was, but they were like, well, we have, it was Colorado Springs. Our Colorado Springs local association has a president, and then they have 8 vice presidents. So they have vice presidents of each section versus just different, like somebody that oversees coaching. So they're just the vice president of coaching. And basically that was to level the voting so that no one could be like, oh yeah, but I'm higher in the board, and kind of leverage their vote. So this is one of the upgrades that we provide this coming season through the portal. is to create your own positions. Fundraising is a big one that we've seen created from different associations throughout the nation. We also have position-specific tasks. So when you assign a role to a specific user, they get a monthly guide of timelines and tasks that they need to follow for their role specifically. And then in addition to that, now we can add custom tasks and roles. So I can create a role as the president, and I can say, this vice president needs to complete it, and add it to their list automatically. Or I can say, my entire board needs to take Safe Sport. So I can add that to my list, and then also make it repeat for everyone. It can also repeat based on whether they've taken it or not. So it removes once they actually check it off. We also have resources that are position specific, that are automatically filtered in, and then as an association uploads resources, they can actually designate what position it's relevant to, or all the positions as well. So these are a couple of the job description examples. They're probably really hard to read up there. Task lists look kind of like this. Now you can hide the months that you've already completed. And then they also have a task bar, which you can kind of see at the top where the green bar kind of goes partway across the screen. So that's basically your progress. So it's not individual tasks that you see, but as you check them off, the progress bar goes farther. In the Resource Center, these are a couple examples. Everything's PDF, so you can download it, print it if that's what you prefer. But strategic planning is a big one. Again, we talked about mission statement and reaffirming it. Does your organization still believe the same thing that it did when it was founded? I'm sure your board has probably turned over. Are the same values and purpose still hold up today? And if not, what's the process to change that? A lot of those questions about in 3 years, or what decisions would you have changed, a lot of those can be hashed out through strategic planning. USA Hockey just went through their strategic planning, their long-range planning a couple seasons ago, and we added another department, so now we are back doing it all again. It's not a fun process per se. It requires you to think a lot. It challenges you. But as a board, it would be good to have everyone on the same page as where we're going next season, 2 seasons from now, 3 seasons from now, where we want to be in 7 to 10 seasons, participant-wise, as well as how big we want to get, what we think we can actually manage and hold based on ice time. Maybe we're a smaller local community and we only have 2 sheets of ice. At some point, we're going to have to look to add a third. Should that be a goal of our organization? If so, it might take some serious fundraising, but can you start on that now and peck away at it over the next 10 years rather than, oh shoot, we need it next year? So the impact that we're hoping overall this Club Excellence portal has, essentially we want to provide a roadmap, again, to the volunteers to help you guys not only embrace your role, know your role, and be able to contribute. Everyone has the standard everyday duties. They get kind of old, right? No one wants to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But the quicker that we repeat those things, the more time and energy we have available to really make it our own and to create. So if I really care about growing girls hockey, the quicker that I get all of my roles and responsibilities done, quicker I can turn over and think about that girls growth event that I have planned coming up, and what other thing that can I get done for that? Can I get more flyers out? Can I go talk to the soccer club? Can I talk to the softball club? Right? So the more energy I have left over to really put into exactly what I want to do on the board and what I want to achieve. We also want to raise the bar. It was mentioned last presentation, but hockey's changed a lot. We made some gutsy calls based on research, right? It worked out for us for the most part, but we constantly want to challenge ourselves and raise the bar, and we want our local associations to do the same. Program services, my entire department travels around to listen to best practices from local youth associations, and then I take all of them back, make 1-page outlines, and then send them to anybody that will listen in the entire country. Anybody that is interested in growing, I can talk to you for a couple hours about different ideas that I've heard just from other people around the country. I can't invent everything. But when I hear a good idea, I can repackage it and take it out and give them credit, right? There's no sense in reinventing the wheel all the time. Sometimes it just takes more effort than is necessary. We also want to manage the change. Volunteer retention. We talk about player retention, but volunteer retention. How many of you guys get done with your season and you're like, I don't want to go in the rink. I'm done. I'm out of here. I need a break. And I'm a board member. Anybody? I did it. At the end of the season, I was like, get me off the ice. I don't want another 8-year-old to come up to me. I'm done. I need my break. Right? At some point in time, we all hit our limits and we need to refresh. Maybe you got to leave the board. Maybe your kid's out of hockey and it's not going to happen in your schedule to go back to the rink to serve on the board anymore. That all happens, right? Our kids go off to college, they make a high school team, they go out of the local association. Who's going to fill that role? How do we know who was in that role before and how to do that role? We also want to enhance communication. So before, USA Hockey would send information to districts. Districts would send it to affiliates. Affiliates would send it to their associations. USA Hockey would also send information directly to parents of youth players, to adult players, to coaches, to officials. All of these different lines of communication. It's a complete mess. It's a web. But who do we miss in all of that? We don't have contact information for every single association president. How many people in here coach? All right, put your hands down. Of those that do not coach, how many of you guys have ever played ice hockey? How did you guys get into it? What position do you hold? Anybody?
I became registrar because, well, okay.
That's perfect. That's exactly the answer that I was looking for. I don't know. I'm here. Somehow, my name got thrown into a hat like I'm here.
Oh, someone asked.
Yeah. We don't all know the coaching side of it. We don't all register to coach, so we don't necessarily get all that information. Now all of our coaching materials are also getting to our Youth Hockey Association board members. So now the communication is the same across the board. Even as an official, all of that information on requirements to become an official, isn't that valuable for a youth association president to know? Have you ever received a complaint from a parent or a player about an official of a game? Oh, come on, everyone's received that. Right? Do you guys know what steps every single official within USA Hockey has to take in order to even get on the ice to officiate that game? Would that be valuable knowledge to know when a parent comes up to you screaming and yelling about an official? Yeah. It's not like it was just Joe Smo and we threw him on the ice, gave him a pair of rental skates and chucked him out there, gave him some stripes, right? Valuable information. You got to know the steps of the process in order to answer process questions and field complaints. We also want to improve governance documents. So there's a lot of documents that we can share, policies, procedures that we can share not only from an affiliate perspective, but also for the Youth Hockey Association. What's necessary, what's not, what might be a good idea, locker room policies, different things like that for different facilities. Again, best practices. So in order to get started for Club Excellence, either a current serving president or vice president has to register on behalf of your association. Once they register, USA Hockey will confirm that registration. At that point, if you have a portal account, you will log into that and see a different login screen. If you don't have a portal account, meaning you're not a current registrar or 2 and 2 Challenge registered member, then you'll receive an email with all your credentials, so your username, which is just your email address, as well as your password. Once you log in, you're going to have to change your password immediately because they're super long. And then from there, you guys control it. So whoever grants you permission to go in, that person will go in as a president, say, and they basically assign your entire board and they invite them to join it. From there, president or vice president, if you guys don't want to oversee your board on it, then you can pass it off to somebody else, designate them as an admin, and they can kind of take that role or invite other board members to participate. But it's pretty easy, and then from there, everything kind of falls into place, and you can, again, create custom tasks and